Good morning, y'all. Like that cup? I ordered that off of Amazon. Found it in a group that I belong to on Facebook or whatever. And yeah, it's a whole vibe and a mood. Okay? Especially me morning. Okay? Shut the fuck up. Okay? Because you don't feel like going to work if you're sitting at a job where they consider you essential, and you don't feel like hearing that fake wannabe manager, aka called a coworker, at your cubicle or in your office or at your desk or wherever you work at, that always thinks they in charge. Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. I'll put the link in the description section below. So what's up, y'all? I know it's been a while. Every time I ain't even gonna say tried to do a video. I recorded the video and was unable to upload because this is on my laptop. I decided to start doing it on my laptop or whatever because it saves me battery on my phone, and the picture to me seems a little clearer, a little better or whatever. Your girl got braids or whatever. I've had them in there about 3 weeks or so. So yeah, it's a mess. But anyway, now who did them? Now the girl who did them, she did a bomb job or whatever. But being that this is quarantine, I mean, I've tied them up and I ain't really been nowhere. Giving y'all a little update. Basically, my recent blood results or whatever, test results, came back that, once again, I have leukopenia, which for those of you who don't know what leukopenia is, it means that because I take immunosuppressive drugs, they tend to make my white blood cells lower than normal. The lowest, I don't know if I've put this in past videos, but the lowest that your white blood cells can be or should be is 4.0, and mine have dropped to a 2.6. So, and they had just dropped to a 3.5. Now they recently went to a 2.6, which means that being that I already have a compromised immune system, it's not safe for me to go outside, especially in these times during, COVID quarantine or whatever. Like, people don't realize your white blood cells usually counts as like your first line of defense. So if my immune system is already compromised due to me having lupus, having low white blood cell count isn't going to make it any better. You get what I'm saying? So it wouldn't behoove me to be outside even with a mask on. It's just too much. It seemed too much. So imagine my dismay that I have to trust Mr. J wholeheartedly, 100%, to get our groceries. And we all know how husbands do when it comes to grocery shopping. Hold on one second, y'all. I got to go get my charger. Okay, y'all. My bad. I had to go run and get my charger from my laptop or whatever because it showed that the battery was low. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, I have to wholeheartedly trust Mr. J to make sure that the proper grocery shopping gets done. Now, I'm not saying I can't trust him, but I can trust. Okay, so yeah, like I said, it limits my exposure to the outdoor. It sucks, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I've been living this life for the last 4 to 5 years, being confined to four walls. And yeah, I did, y'all have heard me talk about it. Y'all have even seen me videos with the infamous red t-shirt on. I worked at Target. So, after, last year, I wish I started like recording when I was in the hospital last year, but I was just going through so much this time last year, coming out of the hospital and all kinds of stuff, that it just seemed like, I don't know, I guess it just never crossed my mind to do so. But I wish I had. I hope I don't end up in the hospital anytime soon, but if I do, I will try to make a conscious effort, depending on the severity of the situation at that time, to record, because I understand part of recording a person with an illness is recording the whole journey in its entirety. Another thing is, I want people to be a little more mindful. Like, just because you see that I'm young and I have a handicap placard doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have anything going on with me. I have people that have called themselves trying to confront me, I guess, or approach me about me having a handicap placard. Upset. And it's usually, and I hate to sound like that person, but it's usually an older white person. And I don't even understand how you feel like because I'm young and black, or I appear to be healthy, that there could possibly be nothing wrong with me because you see me with a handicap placard. You damn sure can't scam to get yourself one. If you can, honey, look, I mean, shame on you. You know, it is what it is. You get what I'm saying? I ain't knocking the next person. You get it how you live. However, I do have legit issues going on. And just because I'm not walking around on my walker or, you know, humped over or gray hair in my head does not mean, because there is no qualifications or requirements or prerequisites to being sick. It happens to everybody. You have kids that are born into this world every day that have all kinds of diseases and illnesses that they cannot get rid of. Some are hereditary. You know, it's just in their genetics to get sick. Some don't even survive. So you're going to sit here and condemn or penalize or question everyone that has a handicap placard? Like, stop, for real. I don't know why this thing is doing this. It was working fine earlier, right? Let me see something. Okay. Well, anyway, another reason why my videos, trust me, I had videos all in my brain that I wanted to create, I guess, you know, put out there in the universe. But I just, as of lately, especially since the beginning of this year, it just seems like if it ain't one thing, it's another. Now, I know everybody had a lot of promise for 2020. This sucks. I don't particularly let this whole quarantine situation get me down because, like I said, for the last 4 or 5 years, I've been on quarantine. So I'm pretty much kind of used to it. Not being a Debbie Downer, but I mean, it's my reality, my experience. It's not everybody's, but for the most part, if you have chronic illness, especially with autoimmune issues, 9 times out of 10, this wasn't really making much of a difference because some people were already at home. Just sitting or whatever, you know. Yeah, so part of what's been going on is teenager. Those of you, I mean, you've never seen them, but yes, I do have a teenage son. Very handsome fellow, very affectionate when he wants to be. All the way Aquarius. Oh, my Lord. Like, if you've ever dealt with one, honey, because I am a firm believer. Now, I'm not all into the crystals and yogas and stuff like super heavy or nothing like that, but I am a firm believer that your zodiac sign is a big part of your personality because trust me, he is so to himself a lot of the time. He is not very forthcoming with his feelings. It's almost like pulling teeth. And sometimes when I would talk to him, I'm like, boy, I ain't got time for that shit today. Let me know what's going on your mind because we got things to do, you know? And usually that'll drag it out of him. But here lately, I don't know. It could be just that teenage angst thing, you know, like, of course, I'm not end all be all authority on parenting or whatever because every child is different and every kid, you know, every kid is basically just different. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily just confined to an Aquarius because not everybody carries those same crazy traits, but they can be very vicious. They can be savage at times. You know what I'm saying? However, the thing of the matter is that my son had a lot that he was dealing with when I let him go stay with his father. He's 18 now. He just turned 18 February 2nd. But yeah, 2002. Right? 222. But I let him go stay with his father when he was 10 years old. It was a tough decision because I was raising him them first 10 years by myself. Like his father really wasn't around like that. Like he wasn't a total deadbeat, you know, because I got that child support and he, you know, if I needed something, he definitely got it for him. And it wasn't a situation where we were still fooling around and all that because y'all know how the classic baby mama, baby daddy connection goes. But yeah, we were far removed from that type of situation. And I can't necessarily say he's a deadbeat because, like I said, financially, when I needed him to come through, he actually came through. However, it's the quality of time. He's what my mother likes to, well, not likes to, but what she calls a Disneyland parent. Because he wasn't always physically present. And it's not like that he couldn't, you know, because let's not get it twisted. We met in the military. And I don't care what nobody says, Uncle Sam pays you even on your days off. That's a 24-hour job, especially if you're active duty. You talking to a vet. I did it 7 years total, 10 months. The first 3 years was active duty, and then I finished out my contract the last 2 years as a reservist. So I know how both roles. And plus, my mother used to be a reservist for 13 years in the Army. So there's no excuse to why he wasn't coming around like that. And then luckily, me and my son's father's family had such a great connection that he was able to go be with his grandmother in summertime or whatever. So during the summer, he would, oh, that's a spot. Chad. I have to let y'all know about the neighbors we used to have before then, left behind their little pets or whatever, you know. But anyway, so yeah, you know what I'm saying? They, basically, it just boiled down to he was supposed to only keep him for a year. He lied. He came up with some crazy ass excuse on why to not send him back because he missed him. Okay. So he ended up keeping him. He was stationed in Hawaii. And I felt like at that time, I had been doing a lot of this by myself. Now, don't get it twisted. I had a bomb ass support system with my mother and her husband at the time. But a support is a difference between a support system and raising your child. And by no means was my family raising my son for me. I did that on my own. They helped and supported in rearing him, you know, and supported him. But as far as the raising, me getting up every morning, going to school, you know, it's like things that I had to do as a single mother. And I think I'm gonna make another video separate of that, of this or whatever on that subject in particular. But just trust and believe when I say I was paying my own bills, I was working, you know what I'm saying? I was taking care of my son practically by myself. And the only saving grace was during the summer that he was able to grow up with his father's side of the family. Like, we had that good enough of a relationship, and me and his grandmother before she passed had a real great relationship. We were real tight. And so, and which, you know, that don't always happen. So it's such a rare occasion, unfortunately. And it spawned off into when he did get him, you know, it's basically because he was paying child support beforehand. But let's be clear. Child support wasn't funding me personally. You know what I'm saying? That thing helped with like luckily I stayed in income-based housing, like apartments or whatever. I was there for 9 years, you know what I'm saying? Nice apartments, 2 full bedrooms, 1 full bath, you know what I'm saying? It was kept affordable, you know, but I had to pay my rent, my utilities, all that stuff. The main thing that child support paid for is what exceeded my rent. You know what I'm saying? Was the after school care and daycare and stuff like that. My rent, when it was all said and done before I left that place, my rent was only like $460 or something like that. Hell, my daycare bill a month was $520. I was only getting $500 a month in child support, so I still had to cover the difference, which is not a big deal because at least I was getting that, and I'm not complaining, trust, because still he was doing things to, you know, if I needed new shoes or something for him. I mean, for the most part, I got it myself, but if I really wanted, you know, I needed him to help me, I would let him know. And I didn't ask for the money. I'm like, just buy it and send it to me. And I would have it shipped to my mama's house or whatever, because of course I stayed in an apartment, and the couple of times he did send some packages, I've gotten some stuff stolen from me a couple of times. So it was just safer down the street where my mother stayed in the actual house to have it shipped there. Makes sense, right? So fast forward to by this time, my son's father is out of the service, and he married someone that's currently in the service. So while she's thriving in her career, he had an issue with, you know, alcoholism and stuff like that. And it just bled on into them coming back to the mainland from Hawaii to Kansas. And the crazy part about it was the whole time he's going through what he's going through, it's like, based on what my son is telling me, he didn't really want him around. You know what I'm saying? He was treating him like he didn't want him around. But I think things just really got worse with time. And the only thing that I should have done before he left was I should have gotten the proper paperwork that said he was permanently placed with me, so it wouldn't be a problem to get him back. But just being, I guess, blindsided by the fact that, first of all, he was married this time, and he was married to someone I thought was very sensible, and I still think she is. Don't get it twisted, but me and her, we lacked communication, and what I was trying to create a connection, not so much a relationship, but the fact that she, like, well, we would be besties or whatever, but to the fact that I need for you, you have my son's life, somebody else's child's life in your hands or whatever, or a part of your responsibility. We should have that connection. I believe in being a big communicator or whatever, because at the end of the day, you have my child. My child's care is in your hands, and I have to trust you at this point. So we need to communicate as women and as mothers, because mind you, they have a child together too. So you should know, I would think, but she just lacked that part, and that's the part I don't like. However, it grew to where when I was trying to get my son's father to send him back, I think low key, he was upset because I ended up getting pregnant by my husband, which I think people need to cut that bullshit out, because at the end of it, if you've been married way before, like he had been married before the end of '08, I believe. I didn't get married to 2013. When it came to me and him, and as far as domestic situations went, I never got involved with whoever he was dealing with. Whoever you doing and screwing is on you. Hey, you can screw till it falls off. At the end of the day, we done did our contribution to the earth. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to have that kind of connection anymore. So, needless to say, I would get pissed off because he would do childish shit. Like, I would call, he would just pick up the phone and just breathe on the phone or something like that. Like, just doing stupid stuff. And the flip side of it was, luckily, the person that I married and the person that I had my first child by are complete opposites, which that's the goal anyway, I would hope. But it just got to be so toxic with me and my son's father over the years. Like, my son is 18 years old, and for some reason he thinks I'm the gatekeeper to my son. And my son is just at that point, you do so much to a child, so much traumatic stuff, they're not going to want to be bothered with you after a while. It is what it is. Fast forward to now, my son, in the last couple of years that he's been home with me, it's just been nonstop craziness. Like, he'll have a period where he'll do right, and then he'll fall back into that same pattern. And I know that comes with peer pressure, that comes with being a teenager, that comes with school, that comes with, again, people that he's hanging with or whatever. But you can't always condemn their friends, because at the end of the day, I know that I raised my son to have a sound mind for decision making. You know what I'm saying? I know, not saying he's going to always make the best decisions, clearly, because even at my age, I don't always make the best decisions. But, being that he is 18, like, I don't expect him to get it right all the time the first time. But I definitely expect him to take some form of responsibility for the stuff that he has done, and which he has not yet done. He started vaping, which we all know that shit is dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Kids are dying. I even seen on Facebook one time some young kid that was 16 that had a cut across his chest where he had to have a double lung transplant. Like, just crazy stuff. You can see stuff. This social media got their minds messed up. They have this false sense of entitlement these days where they feel like they don't have to put in any of the work, or only need to put in half the work and reap the full benefits, which is ridiculous. I mean, I'm not a strict parent, but I do require him, or I did require him, of keeping his room clean, keeping the bathroom clean, because we have 2 full bathrooms, and I don't wash my ass in your bathroom. You wash your balls, your ass, your feet, and all that. You should be responsible. Now, granted, my 4-year-old daughter, she uses the tub too, but she needs assistance in cleaning herself. And guess what? At the end of the day, you're still 16, 17, 18. I shouldn't be having to clean up behind you. You get what I'm saying? Like, point blank, period. Because, like, these kids don't even know what real responsibility is. Because at his age, not only was I going to school and making sure my work was done, I was working. And I mean working. That's because teenagers during my time, not that I'm super old or nothing, but, teenagers during my time, they actually, like, we loved having a job, making our own money or whatever. These kids, they have it so easy to the point where they feel like they don't have to be grateful for anything. So it basically boiled down to where, he, like I said, he was vaping, he was getting high and all this other stuff. See, and the thing is, I'm not mad if you smoke weed. I'm not condemning nobody of any child of smoking weed. We all did it at that age. Some of us anyway. But I'm not going to be advocating it either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm condoning that behavior. But at the end of the day, when he walked out that door, I don't have 24/7 surveillance on him. I don't have that kind of energy or time. So at the end of the day, I felt like when it's all said and done, I should be able to trust you to make a sound enough decision where you ain't out here just being reckless in the streets and represent me wrong. Because like I let him know, the stuff that you do out here in these streets, ultimately, it comes off as a reflection of like you being a product of your environment. And if you know you wasn't raised to do a lot of that nonsense, why are you out there doing it? And then when you do it, you get caught. So I would think you were going to early retirement, right? And so it was more than just the vaping. He's starting to talk back, and it's like, I don't know which one of your billies, your friends that you got your life twisted with, but you already know you get your teeth knocked out talking to me crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I had to deal with that a couple of times. On top of when we would ask him to do crazy stuff, I mean, not crazy stuff, normal stuff like take out the trash, you tossing our trash on private property. Now, what happens, y'all know, I laid out a video of what all we went through last year when I got sick. Why in the hell would you want to put us back in that same position? That just clearly showed me the blatant disrespect, the total disregard for the fact of not only have we all gone through some shit together, but the fact that you clearly just don't care. You just basically don't even give a damn. To have just done it as if it was okay. But you passed the one trash receptacle that the whole complex uses just to get to your little friend's house that you get high with. Saying, like, I had to let him know, when it comes to that smoking weed, so you have to be responsible if you want to call yourself doing recreational shit. Because guess what? While your friend is sitting there getting high with you, I bet you he ain't too high to clock in his job on time. And to, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't too high to go to work. You feel what I'm saying? That should be enough for you to think, you know what? Maybe I need to cut back on this and think about getting me another job. He had a job at Subway, and I mean, it wasn't to his own fault. They ended up, it was a franchise, you know what I'm saying? So, the person who owned it, or the new owner of the store, they ended up taking him off the schedule for whatever reason. I don't know. But at this point, I'm just like, this is just getting ridiculous. Like, you need to do something better with your time. Like, go ahead. I mean, plus now here in South Carolina, the kids don't even use books. They use laptops. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you got all your reference tools and everything that you need pertaining to your schoolwork at the tips of your fingers. You know what I'm saying? In a damn laptop. Like, you don't even have to carry a book. So I don't even understand how, and I get it. This schoolwork, shit, it wasn't easy for me in high school. I know it can't be easy for you. And each year is just going to get harder and harder and harder. And I used to tell him this all the time. So then with that, you're not doing your assignments yet. You want me to consider you for online classes now. With that, I will say it's one thing when your child is doing all of his or her work, and they're still not getting it. They're still bringing in low scores. But it's a total, like a whole nother ball game when your child just completely refuses to do the work. See, you want me to make it easy for you in life, but I'm trying to let you know that there's nothing in life that is that easy or whatever. And if it comes that easy, I don't even think that I want it, because guess what? That means it's too good to be true. So when I told him, you think you got the game sold up. The thing is, because the little boy that he was getting high with, he was taking online classes. But like I told him, I ain't that little boy's mama. I don't care about how she went about letting him get his high school diploma. At the end of the day, you have not yet applied yourself. You sitting here letting projects, you know what I'm saying, like let the major projects happen and then, come, and then you don't even attempt to do them. Like one particular project he had for English, I believe, all he had to do was do weekly check-ins on that project and got an easy A. Didn't even do that. It's been a lot of stuff going on with him, and anybody that's known my son since birth knows that he is not that kid. My son is as square can be. Okay, like for real, he is such a Carlton Banks, and people used to laugh when I said, but he's a Carlton Banks, and now he's acting like he's trying to be a street Carlton. Like, boy, cut it out. Okay, because that's the thing. These kids don't realize while you out here fronting for your little buddies and stuff, you are not your buddy's priority. And that's why I told him that as the older you get, your priority should, I understand your social life is going to be a priority because he's 18 with no kids. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not trying to be a young Gigi either. For real, I'm not. And no, not knocking nobody, but I just, Hell, I just became somebody's mama 4, almost 5 years ago. Again. So what makes you think I'm trying to have my toddler daughter and a toddler grandbaby? I don't think so. Plus, I'm still 38. It's too fucking young to be a grandmother. I don't care what nobody say. Period. So at the end of it, I feel like, for somebody who, even if I went without, you've never went without, I need teenagers to start showing a little more gratitude. Hopefully, I'm praying that it will turn around, because I know stories like this, sometimes they end up with a happy ending. But the reason why he is no longer at this residence is because you can't continue. First of all, I'm not raising a failure. You cannot continue to do the stuff that you're doing and disrespecting not only me, but my husband, the person that has been there for you for a while, and the one that's actually stepping up and showing up and letting you know that, because they even had a great connection. They still do have one. But at the end of the day, especially in my current condition, I cannot afford for anybody, not even at the hands of my own child, bring me down and stress me out. Because what I went through last year was a lot. You understand? And he saw me go through it. So the way I'm feeling right now, I ain't gonna never give up on my kids, because I love them to death. But I cannot want something more for you than you can want for yourself. And this year is so unfortunate, because this year, even though most graduates are not going to be able to participate in any kind of ceremony anyways, or well, at least in person that I know of, this would have been his last year of school. He even did stuff like here, I didn't realize until I got a teenager that you're only required to go to school from the age of 5 to 17. Here in South Carolina, they will let their child disenroll themselves out of school. And that's what he did. He was trying to go to one high school that he went to before we ended up moving to Rock Hill and I got sick. He tried to go back to that school. And the thing is, it's always that one popular school that is not always able to take all the kids or whatever, because they already have kids that are naturally assigned to them. So anybody that wants to come to them, they got to turn them away, because the kids that are already assigned take priority, right? So he waits to the last semester of his last school year and disenrolls himself out of one high school to go to another, only to find out the other high school couldn't even take him, because for one, the online class window had already closed. Secondly, even if they did accept him, his diploma would still say the school that he had already been going to since the beginning of the year. So basically, you pretty much just cracked your face on the floor. You know what I'm saying? You could have been just going to school like regular, like you was already doing, to the school that you were currently going to. And now he has to go through this program that's for homeless youth, but he's not homeless, because trust me, if he don't show up for school, they still call me. So, and I talk to all his teachers and try to keep them abreast of the situation, even his counselor, as much as I can. And I feel like, you know what? At some point in time, when it comes to our kids, we as parents have to stop taking on the responsibility of the nonsense, especially because it's not like my son never came from a structured background. I'm very structured. I run off a routine, and anybody who knows me knows that. Plus, on top of that, I had to quit blaming myself, because I had guilt for the first time when we first put him out. I had guilt, you know what I'm saying? But it started affecting me physically. It started affecting me emotionally and mentally. And I was just spent. And when you're that spent, like all the way across the board or whatever, it just sucks. You don't really have the energy. You're void of energy. And it's like, I already have a toddler at home that I have to give energy to. I cannot continue to keep putting my health at risk and stressing out over my son, because at the end of the day, no matter how you look at it, he is technically 18 years old, and he gonna find out fast and hard that this life, being grown, is not what's popping. Because if my mama could still pay my bills, baby, I would still ask her to pay my bills. Like, it's just point blank, period. Like, growing up is not popping the way these kids think it is. Yeah, when I was little, I thought it was all about staying up late and eating what I want. Child, please, if they only knew, okay, that hell, if I could be to bed by 8:30, 9:30 every night, babe, I'd be there. But when you got other children, it ain't always that easy. Now, thankfully, I only have the one other kid that lives with us to worry about. Our 10-year-old that stays with his mother, he, that's a whole nother situation. You know how that goes. But he's a well-rounded child, thankfully for that. And now we're at a point where we're able to get regularly scheduled visits or whatever for my husband. So, I just thank God for my small blessings. I have too many things to look forward to in life to sit here and let this one obstacle hold me back. Now, mind you, love my son, will always love my son, will always be there for my son. But will I allow my son to continue to disrespect? Hell no, because I don't deserve it. It's not warranted. Ain't nobody done nothing to him. And see, that's the thing. These teenagers act like they're doing you a favor. But like I had to tell him, you are no longer an asset. You are now a liability. You are eating up groceries you're not replacing. You are running up bills that you're not paying on. And at the end of the day, like I said from the beginning, even when I went without, you've never gone without. And that's the whole point blank and the period. Okay? So don't ever feel like as a parent that you failed. You get what I'm saying? Because we all get knocked down on our asses. And he's even made a statement to my mother saying that he didn't want me and my husband saying anything to him about finances because look at what happened to us. But life happened to us, just like life definitely happened to me. You get what I'm saying? Like, you think it wasn't a situation where we just said, F it, we ain't paying our bills anymore. This was a situation where my illness, unfortunately, took its toll, you know what I'm saying, and decided to come to the forefront and make a debut that, twice in 1 year. So I didn't ask for the sick life. The sick life evidently chose me for a reason. You get what I'm saying? And when it's all said and done, I've still, like, even recently, I've had to have my medication, regimen changed up. But that doesn't necessarily mean that, you get what I'm saying, that I'm looking for an excuse or whatever, or a way out of something. Trust me, if I could, especially above all this COVID stuff going on, if midst of it, like, if I could be out there working right now, like making an honest check, not saying that disability isn't an honest check, because you do work for that ultimately, but to be able to get outside of these four walls, like, that just lets you know we take so many things for granted, yet we don't really think about these things until life really knocks you on your ass. And at the end of the day, I'm still standing. I'm still living another day to be able to record this video. So I think that's what I'm just going to start doing. I'm just going to press record on my laptop and I'm just going to start talking, because basically that's how these channels get started. And if I reach one person out there, then I've done my job. You understand what I'm saying? Because the stuff that you go through, when you're going through it at that moment, you don't never think that there's somebody else going through it like you, or with you, or whatever. You think that you're one alone, all in the world by yourself. And I'm here to tell you, you are not. So if you have a child that's tripping or whatever, guess what? God gonna turn that thing around. You put it in his hands, leave it at his feet and let it go. Because at this point, that's the way that I feel these days. Let go and let God, honey. Because some things are just above me and it's out of my control. And I don't have the energy or the wherewithal to keep putting my foot on my son's back and on his neck, you know what I'm saying, to constantly tell him my infamous line that I've been using since forever: get your brain out of your back pocket, okay? And for him, preferably out of his shoe, you know what I'm saying, the bottom of his shoe, like a piece of gum. Like, I just need him to start thinking, because my son has the potential, like anybody else's child, to be so much greater than what he is. And it's unfortunate that as of right now, he does not see that for himself. Now, hopefully he will get it together. But if he never gets it together, it is not a reflection on my parenting. It is not a reflection on me, because I did the best with what I had. You understand what I'm saying? And I tried to provide the best life that I could for him. But especially when they start at least hitting 15, 16, you should not have to be, hovering around your kids as much. I'm not a helicopter mom, because I taught my kids to be very independent, and they have shown to be that. So I just pray that, like I said, he gets it together. And luckily at 18, he's still young enough to turn it all around. That's the best thing. I can see he's 40, 50, 60 or something like that, then we would have a problem. But at 18, he is, you're never too old to turn it around. But at 18, you're definitely not. You're young enough to have, you still presumably have a lot more life left to live, is what I'm trying to say. Got tongue tied. So that means that he still has more than enough time to get this thing to turn around. And I'm praying on it. That's all I can do. Like I said, let go and let God. We have enough going on in this world, clearly. This pandemic is crazy. It's taking people out left and right, you know what I'm saying? And I just pray that me and my family, my friends, even everybody out there that I don't know personally, I hope everybody makes it through this crisis, because it's enough to have to to really be confined. Like, only way that I can't leave my house is basically for a doctor's appointment. So at the end of it, y'all, please be grateful, hug and love on your family members, you know what I'm saying? Because you never know when your last day is going to be. Not saying that anybody's going to die anytime soon. I don't wish that on nobody. But somebody out there has a family member or somebody that they're really close to that has been diagnosed with COVID-19. And guess what? They might not ever make it out that hospital. And a lot of those people that are dying, they die alone. You know what I'm saying? To minimize exposure to the outside world or whatever. And it's so unfortunate. And I bless, I ask God to bless those souls or whatever, to lift them, to continue to cover them, to continue to guide them, to continue to, just do away with this whole virus. Because this thing is just crazy. And if you don't think it's real, turn on your TV, check out the news or whatever. Look at the death toll steady rising. It's coming to a little decline, but I think we're supposed to hit another thing. And, this thing might not lift until August. Like, that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, y'all, don't complain about being locked up with your loved ones in the household. Yeah, we see the memes and stuff is funny, but guess what? It could be, I seen one today that said, what did it say? Staying home. Quarantine is better than, oh my gosh, I forgot just that quick. But basically, it's better to be at home than potentially be exposed and stay 6 feet away rather than 6 feet under. So, I shouldn't have to explain what that means. But yeah, y'all, I hope that everybody has a great rest of their day. If you thugged it out with me on this video, I appreciate it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Give me some ideas on videos you want me to do, or topics that you want me to talk about. And like I said, I have a couple of more in mind that I think I'm going to record. But y'all, I'm trying to be better. I really am. I promise you I am. Lately, it seems like when it's time for me to record, when Moops finally lays down for a nap, y'all, my energy is like, it's trust me, because with that low blood count, it comes with some very low energy. So it's like, do I record a video or do I take a nap? And y'all, sleep has been kicking my ass. It's been winning. Okay, then DDTV, boom, on that pillow, and I gotta take a nap. So I'ma holler at y'all. Y'all stay safe. Wash your hands. Cover your mouth when you cough and you sneeze. Stay clean. Stay healthy. And I'ma holler at y'all next time. Peace.